Well, hello, my Instacart Pearls of Wisdom community. I'm so glad you're here. Just another video of the tales of the old broad on Cape Cod. Oh, she's a poet, but she don't know it. Oh my. Corny, corny. Give it up, sister. Just go back and do your orders for Instacart. Anyway, as I record this, it is Memorial Day weekend, and Instacart was quite bountiful, and then they stuck a promo onto Sunday, 76 um, promo for completing 5 batches, and we know how that goes. It's not really like you get an extra 76. It means if you didn't make 76 in the batches, they will bring you up to that. So it's not my goal. If it happens, fine. If not, fine. But one thing that I noticed this past week is that I felt like a deflated beach ball. How's that for a visual? Remember the ones with all the different colors, and they'd go, the wind would catch them and they'd hit other people and they'd get annoyed at the beach and all that kind of stuff. I wonder if that stuff still goes on. But anyway, I felt like somebody punctured my blown up beach ball with Uber Eats and DoorDash. It became almost silly to see the orders, the distance involved with the traffic. Like, as the crow flies, it's like, well, why can't you just be there in 3 minutes? But as the traffic goes, the Cape is just, the influx has just been incredible. And, I know in other places they're used to traffic all the time and it just happens, but the batches are whatever. But down here, taking a $7.50 Dunkin' Donuts, 20 minutes when there's 3 surrounding Dunkin' Donuts from that customer, I just, it was my moment. It was my moment of like, I'm not going to be able to do this all summer, and end up at the end of the day with $42 from working, 7 hours. It's just, I can't do that. And so, anyway, I began the ad answering for hiring help. BJ's as a cashier, Whole Foods as an in-store shopper, and Shaw's, also known as Star, Albertson, and Safeway, as an in-store shopper for their Doug program. And all spring, here on the Cape, I would see the drive up and go lanes assigned, and they came and did them, and you couldn't park there, and they're closest to the door, and it's like, oh, Sarah, this is your Instacart competition right here. And it's like, well, good for them, that makes sense, but not everybody does that, and some people, have their Instacart accounts from other places, so as they come here on vacation to a house or their second home, they're used to just doing the Instacart order and bada bing, it's at their door. And so anyway, I watched it and I watched it. So I never heard back from BJ's. And that was funny because the man at the door said they were down those 42 people. And then they brought in people from Plymouth, which is 15 miles away. And so, but they still needed help. They were just draining the Plymouth help. And, but I never heard from them. And it's like, okay, and you had to have a cover letter and a resume to, yes, to be a cashier. And so then I applied to Whole Foods because they posted the ad for in-store shopper, and no cover and resume, just their application, which I got through. And then they said, you are ready to do the next step of the hiring process. And it's a psychological test, which came the next day. And I did it yesterday and completed and submitted. And so I went to my favorite Star, Shaw's, doing an Instacart order. And, I mentioned to the manager, he's the one that if he sees me, he'll open up the aisle and get me through, call over one of his teenage kids to bag for me. He's always been just super nice, super present. Love the butcher. He'll do anything. I've gone to him with the obscure. I need 2 pounds and 3/4 pounds of, top round. Can you cut it for him? Always there, always there. The veggie guy, the produce man, Nice, nice, nice. The deli, the same issue with every other deli. It takes 7.4 minutes to get a half a pound of American cheese. But the other departments, I've just always loved the energy there. And so I said to him, how are you doing with that? Pointing over to the Doug, the drive up and go. And he said, "Oh God, we're struggling. We need help. That woman over there, it's just, she's overwhelmed. That woman being, the one that runs it." And I said, "Oh, well, I'm interested. What do you think?" And he said, "Oh, great." He goes over, he tells her, he brings her back. Yes, yes, yes. I can give you 2 shifts now. It would be either 6 to 1 or 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's always the 6 to 1. So I said, "It'll be 6 to 1." She said, "Great." She said, "Ed, hire her." And I went to a deli at another Star Market or Shaw's, but he said, "Oh, I worked at that one. Do you want me to give a call and tell them to hire you? They'd be crazy if they didn't." I said, "Sure, whatever I can do." He called, the manager went. So anyway, long story short, the human resource lady called yesterday, and in less than 24 hours, I've got my Doug position, 2 days a week. Maybe it'll be more at the height of the summer, but it's, the same. It's, they use an app and doing the order. And it's so funny because it's like one day I'll be Instacart and the next day I'll be the competition and vice versa. So it works for me because the DoorDash and the Uber Eats they just aren't while it's the summer and the traffic. It's just impossible. And as you know, I live in the hub of the Cape where all the franchises are. So it's like, well, why can't I just do Dunkin' Donuts and then Starbucks and then Chipotle and then Five Guys and then, why can't I just do those and go back and like have my little radius of, 4 or 5 miles and just get it done and do that all day and do, 20 food deliveries? Well, it just wasn't happening that way. It was like, 10.4 miles, 7.5, the traffic, and then the road work because before Memorial Day last week, they wanted to get everything done for the summer. It all makes sense for everybody else, but as a gig driver, it was like, oh God. So anyway, I'm delighted, and that'll be 2 days, and the rest of the days I can do Instacart. Um, I ended up getting a flat tire on my Camry, so I'm glad I've got the new edge that I can use. I'll be using that today. And then Greg and I will drop the Camry off at the tire place, and I'll give a note and do the overnight key thing. And so that part is what's supposed to be with that, just the plan B in case something happens. And I didn't hit a curb. It must have been something else because the Camry isn't like the Tank Explorer where I bought a lot of tires. I met a lot of curbs. That took care of that. Anyway, yesterday I had this lady, and the account was under a man, and it said in first order with Instacart. And so I said, "Oh, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I hope you like Instacart. I'm getting ready." I went to BJ's, the big box store, and they didn't have a couple of items. Well, it was funny because it's her first order, right? And she wanted a certain deli meat, and they didn't have it. And so I texted her before hitting the can't find item, that they don't have this particular type of ham. Would another type work for you? And she wanted 2.5 pounds of it. So it's like, it's clearly going to be big in her menu somewhere. And she didn't answer me. And so I went into can't find item to hit, and it said, if you can't find it, hit the refund. So I did, and it's like, but I still offered her the choice. And then she wanted a peppercorn grinder, Wellesley Farms, and they didn't have that. But they had everything else. I got it. I put it all in my thermal big Belford cooler. And I drove out to her exclusive, don't you know, neighborhood, where you have to have a BMW and you have to have a Range Rover or a Lexus. So you have to have one of those 3 cars at least in your driveway. It just seems that way. So I, took my humble little Camry into the driveway, and it says, must meet customer, perhaps a first time Instacart person is nervous, so they want to make sure that they meet you. So I ring the bell, everything's there. And she said, "Oh, you're not going to bring it in? They always bring it in." And I went, "They always bring it in. And this is your first trip with Instacart." Hmm. So, okay. All right. I said, "Well," she said, "Well, now I've got to bring it in." And she's got that snooty, you know, attitude. And it's like, "I'll bring it in. I don't care." Put it all back in the thermal cooler and then brought it back in and brought it into the house and put it on her beautiful counter. And she said, "Yeah, they always deliver the food right to my, kitchen counter." And it's like, "Okay, I don't mind." I said they encourage us not to do this, but it's not part of the delivery, but I don't mind. And she said, "Well, where's the rest of the things?" And I went, "Everything that you asked for is on the order." And she said, "Well, it doesn't look it." Okay. Well, I'm so glad I got to meet her. And I even wore a mask, and they lifted the mask thing yesterday. So I said, "I got you everything." I said, "The ham you wanted, I sent you a text about it." And she said, "Well, I was on the phone." Oh, okay. And I said, "And you put refund if it's not available anyway, but I just wanted to go through the offering process." And she said, "Well, it's my dinner tonight." I don't know what to tell you. And she said, "It just doesn't seem like everything's here." And I said, "Well, the peppercorn mill, the grind pepper thing." I said, "That was out of stock, but everything else is here except for the ham that you wanted too." And I said, "I'm sorry if it, I'm sorry. I got everything on your order." "Well, okay. I just don't know what I'm going to do." And it was like, "I don't either. I don't know." So it's just kind of funny. So as I left, I went, "First time with Instacart, but they always bring it in." Wow. Okay. Just one of those tales from the hood. So anyway, it ended up a good day. Lots of Instacart. Didn't even do Uber Eats or DoorDash. Didn't even try. And got my flat tire. So today I will be doing the Edge with my Instacat, and the day should be fun. It's Sunday. It was pouring all day yesterday, so that's not fun with paper bags, but it is what it is, right? I've got that load of plastic bags in the car. And so just doing the do. I feel good. I feel motivated. I'm happy to do it. It feels, you know, it feels more defined now. I'm happy. I was feeling kind of deflated with the gig work, but having alternatives, having a little paycheck over here, and then the opportunity for gig work, being a landlord, so I have that. So I feel like my income stream and my Social Security check, because I'm an old broad at 70, all of this feels good, and I'm happy. And it's just nice to feel settled and enjoy what I'm doing again. So that happens. Wow, it can happen. So enjoy your day. I'm so glad you're here. I definitely can't do it without you. And I so enjoy all the comments and the people here. You've become very, very special to me. Thank you for being here. This has been Sarah, Instacart, Pearls of Wisdom. Thank you. Bye-bye.